All right, welcome in everybody to Wilson Live, first episode. A little bit of history, Carter, as this is the first podcast in Wilson County Schools history, the first one I know of, right?
We started talking about this a few months ago and realized podcasts it's like a crazy popular medium right now, and we don't have one. It's just a really neat way for us to connect with the school system, with the teachers, with families. This is going to be pretty neat.
It is going to be neat. And first thing I want to do is thank our sponsor, because we have a very gracious sponsor that's really helped get this thing off the ground. Carter has done a ton behind the scenes, and I'll introduce more about myself and Carter here in just a few moments, but let's give a shout out where it's needed for sure. This episode is brought to you by Gina and Lena, your trusted real estate team with Coldwell Banker Southern Realty, with over 30 years of combined experience and a background as former teachers with Wilson County Schools. Gina and Lena bring unmatched dedication, communication, and care to every client. Whether you're buying, selling, or just exploring your options, they'll guide you with the heart of a teacher and the knowledge of a seasoned professional. Ready to make your next move? Contact Gina and Lena at Coldwell Banker Southern Realty. Thank you for our sponsor. For sure, you can't get a whole lot done. This takes time, and of course, it takes some money to get off the ground.
Lots of stuff.
And I gotta give Carter credit. He has been. I told him just a few moments ago before we went on air here, is that it has been his baby for seemingly about 6 or 7 months. I'm Bart Barker, Public Information Officer with Wilson County Schools. I've been in the district since 2019. This is Carter Noblin. He is our coordinator of fine arts within Wilson County Schools. And Carter, people may be a little bit more familiar with me along the way, and you may be brand new to the district, like, who's this guy? I don't know. We'll talk more about myself in a minute, but I want to Carter, introduce yourself, give people a little bit about your background and what you're doing today, and just let people know who Carter Noblin is.
Yeah, that's a loaded question.
You're right.
We'll work through it. Yeah, so I am the fine arts coordinator. What that means is I support pre-K through 12. Let's see if I can get all 6 of them: music, art, band, theater, choir, and dance. And that looks a little bit different every day. Sometimes that's working with teachers, sometimes that's working with administrators, sometimes that's working with our community. It's just a really exciting role for us to support a very valuable part of our students' education process. I am a graduate of Mount Juliet High School. We talk about that a whole lot. And then once I went to college, went to MTSU, graduated, and then fresh out of college, Mr. Mayfield over at Wilson Central hired me, and I spent 9 years at Wilson Central as one of the band directors there. And then a whole host of people across the district worked pretty hard over several years to advocate for the creation of this position so that we could support teachers and students at a really high level. And now I get to spend every day doing this.
Well, you've done a fantastic job. You've probably seen Carter pop up more in some videos that I produce, because Carter has really open that avenue up to that fine arts highway, so to speak, that's opened my eyes to a lot of things that it just shines the light even further on our fine arts programs, performing arts programs. Carter has taught those programs. He has been a former student, Wilson County, former student, former teacher, and now a coordinator in our district. He does a fantastic job. As for me, again, you may be newer to the district, a new family. Again, my name is Bart Barker, Public Information Officer. I arrived on the scene in 2019. And
that's tough.
I'll get to that in just a moment. My prior life, I'm still trying to figure out what I do when I grow up, right? But anyway, I have a background in broadcast media. Prior to coming to Wilson County Schools, I was with News 2 for 3 years. I did a lot of different types of things there, on air, off air, just kind of a plug and play type guy, but loved my work there. I've been a sports director, an anchor, a reporter for collectively around 15 years of my professional career. But again, I've been here for 6 years. I'm 45 years old. I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old. So you're probably thinking, wow, you must be tired because you're already an older, newer parent. Carter, you're a parent too.
Yeah, I've got a 5-year-old. We're working through all the 5-year-old things right now. We start kindergarten in a couple of weeks. It's an adventure.
It's here. Yeah. So you may be asking yourself, why should we watch Wilson Live? Well, First off, we are parents of younger children, so we hope to get some relatability there. You're thinking, well, Bart, Carter, I have a middle schooler and a high schooler. No worries, because I come from a large family. I have middle schoolers in my family. I have high schoolers in my family. Carter, you're very familiar because he used to work in the high school setting.
Sure.
So there's a lot of relatability that we want to relay to you. We want to give you just comprehensive information about the district, any kind of new policies that widely affect a lot of you, what that means, things going on inside our schools, but also have some candid moments too, to kind of really share some good stories, and we'll have some guests along the way. Carter, we've had some great ideas.
Yeah, so the best way I think for us to use this is to use it as a voice for the entire district, bringing in the people that aren't behind the camera very often, because it takes a lot. I thought I understood as a teacher how huge this district was, but then you get into this building and go, I've never seen you before, and you realize how massive each of these roles in this building and across the district are. It's going to be really, really neat for us to bring lots of different people in, whether it's staff from the maintenance team or some bus drivers. I think that would be a really, really cool interview. Or we've talked about maybe bringing in some kindergarten teachers to talk about what it looks like to be a student in kindergarten and what that transitional process looks like. And also an opportunity for us to feature students. As band camp's over, we're right in the thick of all of these summer practices. As we get closer to football, as we get closer to basketball, bringing some of those students in just to talk, just to give them an opportunity to communicate with us and the Wilson County community, so that the community knows exactly what's happening here in Wilson County.
It's just another avenue to just pull back the curtain even more, because there is a treasure chest of stories to tell within our schools and between our staff, teachers, administrators. It's difficult to get to every one of them, and I wish that we could do that. And maybe this opens up that opportunity to do just that. Along what you said just a few moments ago, I was a former student. I went, K through 12, and I've been around the school setting, I feel like, for a lot of my life, but I really thought I knew what teachers and administrators did growing up and through the years and working in media and calling on some of these people. But until you work very closely in that setting, I realized I had no idea.
None.
I only knew surface things, like the amount of dedication, the hours put in. It is quite amazing from someone on the outside coming in, because I don't have an educational degree, to teach in a school setting. I was brought aboard because of my communications background, and the district was needing to fill that position. And then once my predecessor had left, and they were, and the job became available online, and so I applied for it, and they brought me aboard. But my interview process, there was a lot of questions there that I wasn't very sure about. There was a lot of acronyms. There's a lot of acronyms in education, isn't there?
And those acronyms change every day.
There's a whole new language.
It's
right?
Great. It's confusing, but once you're in it and start to soak it in, you really see the impact of what we do here in a school system.
Right.
And every person has a role in that. There is no job too small. Every person contributes to the overall well-being of a student here in Wilson County. And so giving them the opportunity to share with the community what that is, to help us to learn what those roles are, but also to help our community see that a school system really is a community effort. It's not just one building. It's not just one school. It's this massive line of people that work to support every student, every teacher, every family. It's so impressive.
It is impressive. And here we are, first day of school, Friday, August 1st. Are we ready, everyone?
Already. My goodness.
I know school's getting a little bit closer when I start seeing more little Amazon packages arrive at the front door. I'm like, honey, where'd this come from? She goes, well, they need this for school. They need this for school.
Well, and as a husband of a teacher,
yes,
that Amazon list is constantly showing up on our front porch,
right,
whether it's something for her classroom or something for our daughter.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah, that was his wife is an educator, so we've got you covered on just about every angle you can think about. So again, relatability. That's another reason you should watch this podcast on a regular basis. We should mention that at the beginning here, since this is just launched, our intentions are to do this about twice a month. Okay, and we will certainly put that out there, and you'll see new episodes. But probably we'll take a look at this around December after the holiday season and the new year, and see kind of where we are. And we may try to beef that up maybe once per week. And so we will see. Carter will tell you, I will tell you that, we can have an agenda of a day that things we want to get done. And then in just one instant, that can be thrown out the window,
especially
because
this time
you are
of year.
needed. Oh, yes.
It's crazy.
It is.
It's so active right now that we go in with the best plan we can, and then we react.
We do. And again, parents, guardians, grandparents, look, school starting, schedules are about to change. Don't worry, you're doing the best that you can, okay? And there are days that you are going to think about, my best just isn't good enough. And Carter and I are here to tell you, it's going to be okay. You are doing the best that you can. Again, we are parents. I'm one of 4. I have 3 other siblings. It was a busy household growing up. Mom and Dad did the best they could, but it was tough. It was tough some mornings and afternoons. There's so many schedules. One thing, you think about students in general, just activities they're involved in. It's not just the school day; it is the whole day.
Sure.
With working parents, or even stay-at-home parents, or parents working from home and trying to get their children to certain things, and it's a lot to connect the dots from the morning alarm until I'm done for the night and I'm going to bed. It is a lot to squeeze into a day. So just know you are not alone. We're all out there trying to do the best that we can. But here we go. School's starting. Enrollment numbers again up. Banking close to, and I have to check again. It's the needle is constantly moving a little bit higher and higher each and every day, little by little. But yeah, 21,000 counting our pre-Kers. That's incredible. Isn't that something?
That's incredible. The way this county has grown is just and continues to grow. Mm-hmm. I think when I started back in 2015, we were probably around 16 or 17,000.
Oh yeah, it was definitely in that range. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So one thing that tells us, and also too, I want to point this out, teacher, there was a moment there within the past, 3 to 4 years, when it got to the week of school starting, I would check in with HR and say, okay, what's our staffing looks like? How many teacher hires are needed? And I have had numbers sent back to me that were well over 100. I've had a number sent back to me before that was over 150. But folks, how about this? I checked in with our HR team here recently, and the number that came back was you just almost want to get misty-eyed, because it just tells you that we're back, baby.
And it's a great place to be.
It is it's a great place. Just around 30 hires, and I imagine some of those have been filled since I last checked. That's an average of just a smidge over one position per school. Carter, you've been in the school setting for a lot of years. You take those numbers.
Oh yeah, of course. And that's a huge change from the last several years. When we got back from COVID, there was this huge shift in education. And as we've gotten away from that, things like this are awesome things to celebrate. We were at new teacher orientation last week. Got to see all of those new teachers. There was an awesome vibe through the building.
There really was, yeah.
Super excited to be here. People that are ready to get in their classrooms and be with students.
And I welcome back. It was around 200 new teacher hires. Some of them were just recently college graduates. Some of them are seasoned veteran teachers that are coming to Wilson County for their to give us a try, see how things are over here and work here. And then some of them, there was multiple that are doing a career change, and we're talking about like some people who have left some high profile positions to come teach in our schools. It says so much. Wilson County is a place, and we know that the growth of the Nashville area is the contributor of that, but there's choices to be made.
Oh, sure.
And families have that choice. So when
lots.
they take a look, Wilson County is a place that a lot of families want to be, and rightfully so.
Yeah, and we've got administrators, we've got schools that are working really, really hard to make sure that our schools are a great place to be, and offering students such a wide variety of ways to participate in their educational process, whether that's a club or a sport or a fine art program. There's so many different ways that at a high level, not just participate, but at a high level, a student can be a part of something unique.
I want to mention this. Our city and county leaders are tremendous, and we have a lot of volunteer organizations that help out so much. So what we have here in just through my lens, okay, through just what I see a lot of people trying to work together to do what's best for kids. And that starts from, again, our county, city leaders, our district leadership, you name it. So there's a good thing going here. And I'm telling you, this train not slowing down.
No, and for those that are looking for ways to support a school, there's no such thing as an act that's too small.
Right.
Whether it's reaching out to a teacher and just offering support, or seeing what they can do inside of their classroom, or we've seen Everyone's Wilson with their signs outside of our school buildings, just showing just such an incredible support for our teachers.
A lot of support. Again, we'll talk more about that along the way. A few things we do want to touch on before the start of school really gets going in full earnest and everything. I think that one of the things that's on the minds of many families out there, okay, where are we with school safety, okay? And I can tell you from a district standpoint, especially within the past few years, and not so much of a reactive measure or action, but a proactive way of looking things is introducing things or introducing new things or installing new things in our schools. Wilson County was one of the very first school districts in Tennessee to outfit all schools with an SRO. At our high school level, there's multiple SROs. At our one of our larger elementary schools, there's multiple SROs. Each school has that at the base level. Through the years, especially in the past 2 to 3 years, that's increased to our new security canines. Those were brought on board last year. Xena and Xander, they make their way around the schools, and they're highly visible. Security film that's been placed on the exterior of doors and windows. You've seen added fencing go along our school grounds, patching any gaps that may have been there, but new fencing for schools or campuses that did not have that previously. Weapons detection systems. That is something that was introduced here within the past year or two. We're still running a pilot program on that where we have those machines that will rove around to our different high schools. We do have a machine dedicated to Barry Tatum Academy that's located right here at the district central office known as the ATC. So you have those things in place, but there's more things that are going to be coming as we go along. Again, it is the mindset of our current director, Mr. Jeff Luttrell, and this school board to say, you know what, school safety is always the priority, has been, will be, and when families send their children off to school that day, that they have peace of mind knowing that there is staffing, there's plans in place, there are all these things, these measures that ensure a safe school day. Again, every day is a new day that has many unknowns, but being prepared is a big part of that, and we feel very, very confident in just the resources we have in place for what could happen.
Sure, and you talked a little bit about our SROs, and I think we're really fortunate here in Wilson County that we've had that partnership for so long.
Exactly.
That's not something that's new to us. I remember when I was in school, I remember the SROs in our building and being at Wilson Central for the last few years. The relationship that we had with our SROs was great. Getting to know them. They work incredibly hard to get to know our students. That relationship between SRO and student is huge, because not only does that give our SRO an opportunity, but it also gives our student an opportunity to contribute to that safe culture in our schools. But you're right. It is all about that preparation piece, and I am thankful that we work in a district where that preparation piece is very thorough, whether it's coming from the district leadership or school leadership. Those plans are thorough and worked on so often. This is not something that somebody wrote 20 years ago and we shove it in a file cabinet. This is something that's constantly evaluated, reevaluated, and practiced a family really just wants to know that their student's going to be safe. And it really feels like in Wilson County, we're doing a lot of things to make sure that that's the case.
And staff want that same feeling too.
Amen.
And you bring up a great point. This summer break coming to a close, I can tell you school safety does not take a summer break. Throughout the summer months and spring break and any of these natural breaks that we have in our district calendar, many times trainings are done inside our schools. And you better believe, we'll pause a point of emphasis here, you better believe that any time law enforcement wants to conduct a training or get inside our schools and just freshen up, just go over things. They may have some newer staff in their units, so they want them to be up to date on everything. Absolutely, our schools are open to them. Our relationship with local law enforcement, I feel very fortunate in my position to be able to work with local law enforcement the way that I do, the relationships I have with them, because they are so forthcoming, and I know that our district leadership just welcomes them with arms wide open, be it they want to come address the board or they want to have a private meeting. Those things are always entertained, and their feedback is taken into heavy weight when it comes to the district making decisions, and our director and district leadership thinking about, how can we only increase our safety and security moving forward. That their feedback and opinions are highly valued and taken into consideration.
Well, and those trainings too, they're real. They're genuine.
Oh,
Those
I've seen them up
they're
close
intense.
and personal. They are as real as you could get. I mean, it's unreal.
This isn't a sit behind your computer and click through the video.
It is not.
This is as real as it can get, and I feel so confident that our sheriff's department and local law enforcement agencies are prepared to support our students, our schools, our administrators, our families, everybody. It's incredible.
Well, okay, one thing, if you're newer to our district, and I want to address this, and because sometimes it's maybe a little bit different style than maybe another district may do. I just feel it's important because, look, I always put myself in a position of like, what do I feel like a parent would appreciate when it comes to information during a school day if there was an alert given, okay? Mm-hmm. You got to think about during a school year, I can tell you, I'm gonna look into the future right now. I'm gonna predict the future. I can do this. I don't have those powers, but I just have history on my side to tell you that there are going to be moments this school year where multiple schools, I'll say multiple because usually it's not just one school because we have schools all over the 600 square miles of Wilson County. There are going to be moments during this school year where your school has the likelihood or a decent chance at some point being placed under a soft lockdown. Hold your breath, breathe easy. Breathe easy. That could be for a variety of reasons, okay? And one of the more common ones that I come across is that because law enforcement is in pursuit of something that has nothing to do with our schools, but our campuses are large and they're in well-traveled areas. Just an example, there is someone who has stolen a car and it's reported that they may have a weapon with them. Well, obviously, law enforcement is going to be in hot pursuit of that. They let us know. And then that way, schools can go into a soft lockdown if they feel that the flow of that pursuit is going to be anywhere near those campuses. So soft lockdown needed. What does that mean? Inside the school, largely normal day. Nothing, everything from if you just were to walk into the school, which soft lockdown, you wouldn't be able to do that. But if you were to walk in, normal day. Visitors limited, meetings may be postponed until the soft lockdown lifts, but inside largely everything is flowing normal. Hard lockdown, different story. Those have been extremely rare, but that is when everyone is sheltering in place in their particular classrooms. Procedures are done by teachers, administrators, and no movement inside the school. But I will tell you, soft lockdown can mean a lot of things. That's why don't be surprised, and Carter, you've probably seen this in the past too, if you see me arrive on the scene, put some kind of information or a video out to kind of tell you exactly what's going on. Carter, you've been in the school setting, soft lockdown happens, man, rumors can go haywire.
Oh, it's wild. It's wild.
In a high school setting.
Oh my goodness. Kids think one thing, teachers think another.
Right.
Somewhere the truth is out there. But
let me stop you right there. It takes a moment to find out what the truth is.
Right.
Obviously, law enforcement have let us know what they're looking for, but is there anything more to that? And they don't know that at the time largely. So there's a lot there. Carter, you've been in that setting.
Sure. And from a teacher's perspective, at that point, our first priority is to make sure that our students are safe, and we're going to follow that procedure. If it's a soft lockdown, we're just making sure that there's no one coming in the building, and we're just managing our day. If it's a hard lockdown, we're following the procedure that our school has already set for us. But I think what you talked about is just another testament to how well our school system works with our local law enforcement agencies, that we communicate at such a level that even if there might be a concern, we're able to put some safeguards in place is great.
So I just want to definitely, and we will talk more and more about school safety as we go along. If new things are introduced or if what's the latest on that front. So another reason you should check out Wilson Live in future podcasts to come. One more topic before we kind of shut the door on this first episode is one of the more recent policies that is of heavy significance in terms of the amount of people it affects is the new district cell phone, or I should say, mobile, the communication device policy. Because, it used to be just maybe a cell phone. Now it's all kinds of stuff. It is watches, it is even gaming devices, you name it.
It's a lot.
So here's what you need to know, okay, is that when it comes to instruction time during a school day, students will be prohibited from using those devices during instructional time. You're saying, okay, what if I have an emergency and I need to get in touch with my kid or vice versa? Look, schools are working that out in a system that best works for them. Yep. If you need to urgently get a message to your child, the best thing to do during instructional time is to contact the school.
Call the front office.
Call the front office. Now, are phones prohibited throughout the entire school day? And the answer to that is no. However, individual schools are creating what they feel is the best way to handle that during those class change periods, those lunch periods, those freer periods where instruction time is not taking place. And just pay attention to any additional information that would likely come from your school. You may have received that already, more maybe to come. But students will have access to their communication devices, just not during instructional time, okay? And I think, Carter, speak to this. This is needed.
Yeah, of course it is. As easily distracted as we can be by a wireless device, you're right, whether it's that watch with that little buzz or the phone going crazy in our pocket or on our desktop, it is really easy for a student to get distracted and lose sight of what's really happening in front of them in that classroom. There are all sorts of examples of teachers that have done, we'll call it an experiment, where they just have a student put their phone on their desk and then they track how many notifications they get. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
It is so crazy. And I'm sure if you and I did the same thing, it would be insane. And so this allows our students an even better opportunity to purge all of that distraction and be focused on that instructional part right in front of them.
Now, this came from the state level to put it on the LEAs, the local education agencies, to create their own policy to comply with state law that Governor Lee signed earlier this year. And at our last board meeting, our Board of Education did just that. So we feel that the policy that has been created, the language that's there, is something that we feel comfortable with, that the feedback seems to be. I was at a in-service yesterday at one of our high schools and hearing one of the principals talk about this to his staff. I think they were all just it was encouraging to hear what they were saying in return, that the administrators are welcoming this.
Yeah.
I feel that our teachers and our staffs are doing that as well. But it's just something that is especially during that instruction time. Any kind of less of a distraction that you can have for students and parents and guardians, I think you get on board with that too, right?
Of course.
If there is something that you need to know in an emergency situation, that if phone access is needed from an immediate basis, that would be granted in an emergency situation, okay, or a health situation. But let's just talk generalized, run-of-the-mill, school day instruction time.
Well, and I think there's enough flexibility in this policy that allows administrative teams to manage it at a high level. You talked a little bit about that medical piece. There are students that track their diabetic stats from their phone, and that's important.
Right.
Where your school administrative team is going to help manage that. But when we're talking about Snapchat going off, Instagram going off, my MySpace, we're gonna go all the way back to the early 2000s.
Wow, a MySpace drop on the first episode. Wow, I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either.
Who had a MySpace? I think I did. It may be still active. I don't know. Did they totally shut all that down?
I hope so. We'll find out. Oh, that was a time.
That was a time. Oh, and the things to come to follow. That was here we are, and there's all kinds of different things. And along those lines, another thing that we'll share as we go along. There's sometimes families unfortunately there's these social media, TikTok trends. There's all these things that are out there that it may seem entertaining to your middle or high school student, and it can cause some serious problems and lead to serious consequences
really quickly.
Really, really quickly. So that's another thing as we start this school year. Stay in tune to your child, what they're looking at on their phones. Ask questions. And again, if there's something that we need to bring to your attention of things that we're seeing that are a result of some kind of a challenge going around on social media that just really has no place in our schools whatsoever, we're gonna let you know. We're gonna tattletale on some of these social media trends because Carter, I know when you in the high school setting, you've seen some of this flare up from time to time.
Oh, and it flares up really quickly. It flares up really easily. It's really simple for a high schooler to make a mistake because they saw it 4 times on TikTok.
From somebody in a state 500 miles away.
So disconnected.
Exactly.
So disconnected. And in some of these cases, students are making life-altering decisions for a 4-second video, which is just crazy. And it's not worth it. And I think that would be our continued encouragement to parents is just be aware.
That's right.
Just pay attention, see what they're posting, see what they're looking at. That's the best way to prevent it is for us to be on the front end of it.
I always say this, a post can be deleted, but a screenshot lasts forever.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. But folks, thank you so much for taking the time to just listen in, watch this first podcast of Wilson Live with Carter Noblin. Again, I'm Bart Barker. So glad that you've joined us. And Carter, any closing thoughts as we round out this first episode?
Let's see. 34 minutes. We filled it pretty easily.
Right.
That went well.
They're going to be around the 30-minute range. Again, this is something where if you're driving along or if you're, however you usually consume podcasts, that you will give us a try and that you will see where it goes.
That car rider line. That'd be great. Instead of getting angry, you get to listen to Bart and Carter once every 2 weeks. It'll be great.
For some of you families that get to the car rider line at 1:30 in the afternoon. Hey, don't worry. I had a grandparent that did that to me one time, and she school would end around 3 o'clock, and she would be there. I think
first in line.
I think around 1.
Oh, that's awesome.
I could see her out there, and I was just like, "Oh, Nanny!" But she was there. I would when school would end, I'd walk out and just kind of talk to my friends and act like I didn't. And she would get out of the car. Bart, get in the car.
You walk to the back of the line just to walk around back to the front. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, good times. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this. Be informative. Make it worth your while. So again. Wilson Live, that's what we're going to go with for now, and who knows, it may change down the road. We're going to just keep building this thing and see where we need to make changes. We'll be glad to take suggestions on what you want to hear about through comments. So again, glad you've tuned in. Carter Noblin, Bart Barker, Wilson Live, episode 1 of our podcast in the books. We hope to see you again real soon.